Hello everyone, it's Lisa Turner here from Psycademy, Leaders in Spiritual Evolution, Personal Transformation and Abundant Spiritual Leadership. So today I'm going to talk about how you actually release emotions and why when someone says to you, just let it go, why that doesn't work and what you need to have in place instead. Now, if you have any questions, pop them in the commenty thing. I will either answer them now if you're on live, or if not, if you're listening to the replay, still pop your comments in and I will answer them later on. So, and if you like it, do the likey thing. So why is it that when you've got, some pain or problem from the past that you can't just, someone says, just let it go. Why is it that you can't just let it go? And there are a whole bunch of, emotional release techniques, so-called emotional release techniques that are kind of based around this idea of just let it go. So there's visualizations where you imagine all the pain and annoyance in a balloon that floats off, and it kind of works until boom, you're triggered again. And it's like the other option is to just stay away from the things that trigger you. Well, then what happens is your life just gets smaller and smaller and smaller because there's more and more things that are going to trigger you because you become less and less emotionally resilient. So what do you actually do? So the first thing is to identify if the thing that's triggering you is actually because something is going on right now that you need to take action on. And if that's not the case, if this is something from the past, so how do you know if there's something that you even need to let go? And it goes like this. So the question is this: do you have memories from the past, which as you think about them now, so some past experience that as you think about it now triggers a negative emotion? Do you find yourself wanting to do something and then thinking about doing it and emotions come up? Chances are you've got negative emotions from the past or limiting beliefs installed in the past. So why can we not just change limiting beliefs by just saying an affirmation? It's like, let's take, abundance as one. People who are broken, they'll just say some affirmation by, the universe is sending me infinite abundance now. Why is it that infinite abundance doesn't land in your bank account? Boom, like that. When you've got painful emotions from the past and you're trying to release them by just letting them go and you're imagining gazillion balloons wandering off with all your anger or your sadness, why is it that you still feel angry and sad or whatever? So the reason is because of actually what's happening in your neurology. So let's look at what negative emotions actually are. So first of all, a negative emotion isn't something you have, although we might describe it as that. And it's not, we often use the term that it's something we are. I am angry, as an example. I am sad. I am hurt. Or they'll say I was hurt, even though they're still feeling the hurt. Yeah. So it's a level of identity. You and the emotion are one. Like you're the same thing. I'm going to come back to that. So, because I need to give you another piece first. So the reason, so first of all, there's nothing to actually let go of. What you need to do is change your perspective on it. More about that. So first of all, let's consider what is a negative emotion. It isn't that you actually have a negative emotion. It's not that you are a negative emotion. You are love. Okay, you are love. That's it. That's your natural state of being. You are love. Your natural state of being is to have love flowing through you. Oh, hi, Amanda. So whenever you feel a negative emotion, what you're actually feeling is an internal resistance to you experiencing yourself as love and experiencing love coming to you. Now, the only reason you can experience love coming to you from someone else and experience unconditional love or being loved is because you are love. So first of all, you may have forgotten or installed a limiting belief that you're not love. So let's take an example. Let's take some examples of some common emotions, some of what I call the big five that people often feel and label in a particular way. And let's look at why and how they're not love, how they're resistant to love. So the first is anger. So when you feel angry, you're not feeling anger. The feeling we label as anger is actually resistance to love, in that you're experiencing an event as if somebody has given you something that is unloving. So somebody's done something or done something to you or said something to you that's triggered anger, or they're doing something that's triggered anger, or they're withholding something. So it's like somebody's kind of keeping something from you or keeping you from having an experience, and that feels like anger. So what you feel like is somebody taking love from you, somebody stopping you getting something. Yeah. And that's anger. Sadness is the feeling that you have lost something that you love or someone that you love. Fear is the feeling you feel when you are afraid that you will lose something you love. Hurt is the feeling that somebody has that you have attempted to give love to someone and they've thrown it back at you. So you've been trying to give love and they've been rejecting your love. So hurt and rejection are really, really close. So you've been trying to give love and it's not coming back to you, or it's been thrown back at you. Okay, so that's the feeling of hurt. Guilt, I love guilt because it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't love guilt, but I love how I like this perspective on it, which is the feeling of guilt is the feeling you get when you think you didn't love someone enough. So why can you not just let these go and boom, it's gone and you feel magical and now you're levitating because you're so light? Why is that? So we use something in Psycademy that we developed, which we call which we label it a spiritual technology. We have a whole bunch of spiritual technologies. And what the spiritual technology does is, rather than releasing the emotion, what we do is we release the resistance to love. Now, why can you not just do that? Why do you need something called this spiritual technology? So there's a couple of reasons for that. So, and a couple of steps in the process. So the first is the idea of you need to fully identify with the problem. You need to fully identify that you are angry. And you need to allow yourself to do that for some very specific purposes, because it's only when you are that, when you're allowing yourself to feel that a couple of things can happen. And you normally need to do that as part of a safe process. Otherwise, you just get stuck in that. You can just get stuck in that. Or, and you need to facilitate some other pieces, which I'm going to share with you. So the first reason you can't just, release the resistance to love. So you're in that process, in that place of being angry. And in that place, two things need to happen. And that's what we do with the spiritual technology. The first is you need to get the learnings. The reason you can't just let it go is because there's some lesson, some learning that you need to get in order for you to be able to release it. Now, there's some things about the learning. Now, some of you may know about my experience. So I was kept as a house prisoner for 5 years in my early teens. I was basically sexually abused by someone you'd label as a paedophile from the age of 13 till 20. In the last 5 years of that, I was kept as a house prisoner. So be easy to think that the learning I might get is he was a bad person. That's not a learning, because what that then does is, well, if the idea of spirituality is the way this works is to flow love. And if I'm thinking that someone is a bad person, I am resisting love. I'm resisting flowing love to him and to me and through my entire being. So the learning is always positive. It's always about yourself as an individual, and it's nearly always future-based. It's either present or future-based. So he was a bad person, but if I thought about my abuser, is not an empowering learning. However, I am safe and I can survive, as an example. I am loved. I am always fine are some examples of learnings. Now, you don't necessarily know what the learning is, and I can't tell you what the learning is. You need to be taken through a little process to bring that into conscious awareness so that the resistance can release. Now, the thing about the learning, the reason the learning is so important, especially when it comes to limiting beliefs. So if you've got a limiting belief, I'm worthless, just say, or I'm not important, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. And that's like, just because those are common ones, right? If you just say to yourself, I am worthy, I am worthwhile, I am valuable, I am good enough, the reason that doesn't just flip that is because it's not the antimatter, if you like, of that belief. And you haven't got the learning. Now, the learning might be the opposite, but you need to remove the resistance. So this comes to the next piece of the release. Oh, actually, I'll come to that in a minute. So think about learnings like this. So if you had a diamond, have I got a diamond? I haven't got a diamond. I've got, hang on, wait. I've got a paperweight, which is nearly as good, right? A paperweight. I thought there was a diamond back. I thought there was like a crystal back there. Anyway, I've got a paperweight, which is almost as good, right? So say you had this amazing diamond. Just imagine this is a diamond, right? In a giant sack of rubble. You got a diamond in a sack of rubble, right? And somebody says, and the rubble is the negative emotion. And somebody says, just let it go. But you got a diamond in there, but you don't know where it is. What are you going to say? Yeah, just throw that diamond and the rubble away. That's no problem. Like, what, you're going to throw away a $1 billion diamond just because it happens to be in a sack of rubble? No, you will lug that rubble everywhere, right? You will lug it just everywhere because it has a diamond in it. Next time I do this, I've got a little like fake crystal diamond. So that's the reason you can't just let it go. You need to find this. You need to find your diamond. So why can't you just find it? Why can't you just, so what the spiritual technology does is it enables the diamond to sift to the top, if you like, so that you can just pluck it out and then the rubble just goes, which is the resistance to love. Now, the other piece that happens, so there you are, you're identifying fully, I am angry, or I am that limiting belief. You found your diamond. What then needs to happen in order to create the antimatter and matter of the problem? So if you think about the problem, I am, yeah? So the I am piece is like it's like an equation. It's like a unit. And the reason and what needs to happen in order for that to be dissolved is you need the antimatter, which is not I, not anger. Okay. So if we have I am angry, not I, not angry. So what's not I? Well, it's everything else. And what's everything else? It's the all. It's the I am. It's source itself. So that's part of the reason why we call this a spiritual technology. Because if you think about, you are an individual and you are also source, you can only feel that pain, that negative emotion, because you believe you are you. I am angry. So first of all, not I, which is source. So source is the antimatter to I. Then you have anger, right? I am angry, okay? What would be not angry? What's the inverse, like the antimatter of angry? Love. And what's the ultimate form of love? Source. So source forms the antimatter of I and am angry. So you become not I, not angry. You become one with source. The anger is gone. You experience love. Love flows through you. The learnings float to the surface. And that's how our spiritual technology works. Now, there is a process involved. There's something that's going on in my neurology, your neurology, or the practitioner's neurology, your neurology, that enables that to happen, which is, frankly, way beyond a 15-minute Facebook Live, and is why we run our spiritual practitioner training. If you would like to know more about our spiritual practitioner training, hit me up with a message and I will let you know how that can happen, how we can make that happen for you. Because on that spiritual practitioner training, that's how you learn the spiritual technology. Not only do you get to experience it, you learn it. And this is really, really important right now, because at this particular moment in the planet's awakening, there's so much going on, right? There's so much going on. We're all, this is when, as people awaken, they become more aware of not only their, so we know what physical pain is. That's when your physical body is damaged and needs to be healed, needs to heal itself, frankly. Then there's emotional pain, which is kind of what I've talked about as now. But then you have spiritual pain, and spiritual pain is the experience you have when you feel separate and disconnected from source. And that's the power of this spiritual technology, because it not only releases the emotional pain, but it releases the spiritual pain as well. So if you want to know more about that, know how you can train in that, because let's face it, the more people who are trained in this spiritual technology so that we can release this pain, like, don't we change? We all, it's like, I can't do this alone. I need you guys. I need you. If you want to change the planet, start with this, learning this spiritual technology, so we can go out and make a huge difference. Huge. All righty. think that's it for today. Any questions? If you like this video, hit the like or the love button. If you think this is important, do share it or tag someone who you think would really benefit from knowing this. So till next time, happy Easter. Happy Easter. Till next time. Lots and lots of love. Bye for now.